It's exactly 12:47 a.m. The terminal is dead silent. You know that kind of quiet where all you can hear is the faint hum of a vending machine? Outside, the night is unnervingly calm. Waiting at the gate is Flight 407. There are 78 passengers on board tonight, but as we're going to explore in this explainer, well, there are some flights that are just never meant to reach their destination. Welcome, everyone. Let me tell you a little story.
So our passenger, a young woman named Ria, boards the plane and finds her seat. But right away, something just feels off. She glances over and notices the seat right next to her, seat 12B, is completely empty. Now normally, hey, lucky break, right? Except she saw the boarding list. That seat was definitely booked. She flags down a passing air hostess. "Excuse me," Ria asks, "is someone sitting here?" The air hostess smiles, that perfectly practiced, polite smile, and says, "Ma'am, the flight is completely full. There are no empty seats." Ria's stomach absolutely drops, because right next to her there is undeniably an empty space. The cabin doors close and the plane pushes back into the dark night. As the aircraft climbs up above the thick blanket of clouds, the cabin lights begin to violently flicker. The pilot's voice crackles over the intercom, muttering something about a minor technical issue. But Ria isn't listening to the intercom. A freezing chill washes over her, and she realizes she is no longer alone. Slowly, terrified, she turns her head back to that empty seat. A man is sitting there, but his clothes are charred black, his skin is terribly burnt, and his eyes are completely, horrifyingly white. He leans in and whispers, "Why are you sitting in my seat?" Ria screams, but none of the other passengers even flinch. Suddenly, all the seatback screens flash on. They aren't playing movies, they're playing a news broadcast from 10 years ago. Flight 407 has crashed. There are no survivors. Ria looks out the window. They aren't flying in the sky anymore. The plane is tearing through fiery, burning wreckage. And one by one, the normal passengers around her just vanish, replaced by the burnt, white-eyed ghosts of the past.
Okay, let's dive into this continuous nightmare, because this is where the timeline becomes a loop. The pilot's final, distorted voice echoes through the ghostly cabin. This flight will never land. Suddenly, the floor drops out from beneath them. The plane plummets straight into the inferno. Ria squeezes her eyes shut, just bracing for the end. But the impact never comes. She opens her eyes. She's sitting in the airport terminal. The clock reads exactly 12:47 a.m. A pleasant announcement chimes. Flight 407 is now ready for boarding. Ria is trapped. She's become part of this cursed loop forever.
Now, let's travel from that haunted cabin to the real-world grounds of the IGI airport in Delhi, specifically an off-limits sector known as Zone 13. It's a stormy, lightning-filled night. Mohan, a ground staff worker, is inspecting an old, rusted hangar. The sign outside clearly says restricted area, no entry. But he's heard the rumors and wants to see for himself. As the wind howls, he hears something completely impossible. The sputtering, grinding cough of an old 1940s propeller engine. He shines his flashlight inside the dark hangar, and sitting right there in the dust, smelling of fresh aviation fuel, is a completely obsolete aircraft.
Mohan's walkie-talkie suddenly erupts with static. A desperate voice cuts through. "Losing control! Engine valve failure!" Mohan points his trembling flashlight right at the cockpit. Sitting inside is a man in a full World War II British pilot uniform. Leather gloves, goggles, and a half-burnt face. Mohan stammers, asking who he is. The ghost turns, salutes, and softly says, "I want to go home." This is the phantom of Flight Lieutenant Arthur Bell, a pilot who vanished back in 1944. And the crazy thing? To this day, air traffic controllers in Delhi occasionally receive ghost signals on dead frequencies. It's Flight Lieutenant Bell, forever requesting permission to land, forever trapped in his final doomed mission. Whoa, okay. Shake off the goosebumps. We humans instinctively feel the dread, right? We feel the suspense and the sheer tragedy of Ria's time loop and Lieutenant Bell's ghost flight. But here is the massive, absolutely fascinating question at the heart of this explainer. Could a machine ever understand why these stories are terrifying? Like, could an artificial intelligence watch a movie about a ghost plane and actually comprehend the plot, the character's fear, and the twist ending?
So, the crucial point is, we are no longer just teaching AI to recognize a cat in a photo. We are officially entering the era of computational story understanding.
This is a very real, very cutting-edge field of artificial intelligence. Researchers are actively building systems designed to untangle complex narratives. They want AI to understand causality, like knowing the plane crashed because of an engine failure, or understanding that Ria is screaming because she literally just saw a ghost. It's all about teaching algorithms the deep semantics of human storytelling.
But to do this, AI needs data, a whole lot of it. A team of visionary researchers recently released a massive project called the M-Simon dataset. Their goal? To teach AI to perfectly match textual story descriptions, kind of like the spooky sentences I just told you, to the exact video clips where those specific events happen on screen. And they're doing this not just in English, but across multiple global languages. They are trying to capture the diverse ways different cultures tell their stories.
The scale of M-Simon is absolutely staggering. We're talking about 13,166 movie summary videos scraped from YouTube, covering 7 different languages and totaling over 2,000 hours of footage. But here is the real secret sauce. AI models usually train on messy, automatically generated data, right? Well, for this project, human annotators sat down and meticulously manually mapped out 101.5 hours of exact video-to-text alignments. They literally watched these clips and told the AI, right here at this exact second, this specific sentence of the story is happening. There are no complex math equations to decode here, just thousands of hours of painstaking human effort to teach machines exactly how to watch a movie.
And guess what? All that human effort paid off spectacularly. When the researchers trained their AI models on this manually annotated data, the AI outperformed the previous state-of-the-art models by a massive 15.7 percentage points in clip accuracy. Honestly, that is a gigantic leap forward in machine comprehension. It proves that if you want an AI to truly understand the nuances of a story, you can't just feed it garbage data. You have to show it exactly how humans connect words to moving pictures. And this brilliantly illustrates the core challenge they were trying to solve: video-text alignment. Think about it. In a movie recap, the narrator might be explaining Ria's backstory, but the video on screen might just be a generic shot of the airport terminal. The text and the video don't always perfectly match up second by second. The AI actually has to learn how to bridge that gap. It has to know when to link a sentence to a clip, and crucially, it has to know when to recognize that a clip is unmatched and doesn't actually correspond to the story being told at that exact moment. In fact, if you look at the actual data from the M-Simon research paper, they used real horror movie recaps just like the one we started with. The AI is actively analyzing a recap of a Thai horror film called 407 Dark Flight, the exact same cursed flight story. It's learning to read the Hindi narration, look at the visual evidence on screen, and perfectly align the text that says, "The plane fell, all passengers died," with the footage of the plane crashing. At the same time, it's smartly ignoring the B-roll footage of the hangar that doesn't match the plot. It is literally learning the rhythm of fear.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens when you feed an AI movies from all over the world. The researchers discovered that the AI started picking up on distinct cultural storytelling patterns. By looking at the themes of the movies in the dataset, they found that Russian films had a noticeably higher percentage of stories dealing with isolation. Meanwhile, Hindi and Chinese movie summaries heavily featured fantasy elements compared to other languages. So the AI isn't just learning the plot, it's practically mapping the cultural DNA of what different societies find compelling. But this global approach also revealed a massive hurdle: cross-lingual transfer. The researchers wanted to test if an AI trained on stories in one language could understand stories in another. The results? Well, if languages are linguistically and culturally similar, like, say, training on Spanish and testing on Portuguese, the AI does great. The transfer success is high. But if you try to transfer understanding from Chinese to English or from English to Hindi, the AI's comprehension absolutely plummets. They are just fundamentally different ways of constructing a narrative. Let's move to SandCow and see how this builds into the big picture, because it is fascinating. This heat map, generated by the study, visually proves that you simply cannot build a globally intelligent AI by only feeding it Hollywood scripts in English. See those dark spots? They show exactly where the AI fails to translate its understanding across cultural barriers. To truly grasp the universal human experience, whether it's the thrill of a romance or the sheer terror of a haunted flight, AI requires highly diverse, multicultural datasets like M-Simon. It quite literally has to learn how every culture screams. Which brings us right back to the dark, quiet cabin of Flight 407 and the haunting static of Lieutenant Bell. We are rapidly approaching a future where an algorithm can watch these horrors, perfectly map the narrative arcs, understand the deep cultural context, and even predict the exact moment the burnt ghost will ask about its seat. But I'll leave you with this provocative thought. Once an AI mathematically masters the exact structure of human dread, Does it actually understand what it means to be afraid? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, next time you board a late-night flight, maybe just check who is sitting in the empty seat next to you.